Hi everyone, if you're following along in McGraw-Hill, we are at the end of chapter 6. Yay, we've been dividing and multiplying decimals and we're on our last step, which is how to divide a decimal by a power of 10. Well, we can definitely do that. It's just like multiplying, but of course it's opposite. So if you remember, whenever we multiply or divide by a power of 10, there's a pattern, and you'll also see the pattern when we multiply or divide decimals. So here we go, we're going to jump right in. I want to relate this to what happened when we multiplied a decimal. Remember, if I had 4 and 2/10 times 10, in whatever your power of 10 is, count how many zeros there are. There's 1, and that's how many spaces to the right your decimal got moved. So if it moved up once, now it's 42, and that would be my answer. What happens when I divide? Well, when you divide something, doesn't it get smaller, right? 4.2 went up to a 42. That's way bigger. But when I divide, things get smaller because I'm breaking up into even groups. So when we divide, instead of moving to the right, you're going to move your decimal to the left, okay? So I'm going to underline that. When we divide by a power of 10, you move your decimal to the left, because if I move it to the left, I'm going to get a very, very small number. It's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and I'm going to show you that. So opposite of multiplying, dividing. Count how many zeros. There's still 1 0, but now we're going to move it to the left. So now it's 0.42 as my answer, or 42 hundredths. What if I did 4 and 2/10 divided by 100? You would count how many zeros there are, and there are 2, which means I'm going to move the decimal to the left twice. So it would be 1, 2. Now notice there's a blank spot here. Fill it in with a 0. So my answer is 0.042, or 42 thousandths. Okay? So I really wanted to show you the difference between multiplying and dividing. When we multiplied, the decimal moved to the right, and when we divide, the decimal moves to the left. And you move it based on how many zeros are in your power of 10. So it's a great, easy lesson once you get the hang of it, because there is a pattern that you guys can follow. Let's go ahead and do another example. What if I had 7 and 8/10 divided by 100? Okay, how many zeros are there? 2, which means I need to move this to the left twice. 1, 2. So my answer would be whatever my new decimal is. It's decimal 078. So it's 78 thousandths. What if I did 14 and 25 hundredths, divided by 10? Okay, there's 1 0. So move this to the left once. So if I move it to the left once, it's going to be 1 and 425 thousandths as my answer. See how easy that is? Yay! I love these ones. Let's go ahead and do a couple more, and then you guys should be good to go. What if I had 19 and 2/10 divided by 10? Okay, I'm going to show you something because I forgot what the book does. They start to use exponents, but I'm going to show you what that means in a second. First, let's do 19 and 2/10 divided by 10. There's 1 0, so move it to the left once. That would give me 1.92 as my answer. Okay, what if it said do 19 and 2/10 divided by 100? Well, remember how we can rewrite 100? Isn't 100 the same thing as 10 squared? Because isn't 10 squared means I need 2 zeros, right? 10 is 10 to the first power, but 10 squared is 100. So they might rewrite it as 19 and 2/10 divided by 10 squared. Okay, if you see that, if it helps you, I would write down what all of those mean. 10 to the first is 10, 10 to the second is 100, 10 to the third is 1,000, 10 to the fourth is 10,000. You guys see the pattern? It tells you how many zeros. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So don't get confused when they have that in their division or even their multiplication problems. They're just rewriting it using exponents, okay? So 19.2 divided by 100 is the same thing as 19.2 divided by 10 squared, because 10 squared is 100. So let's let's rewrite it up here so we can see. So let's do another one. What if I had 45 and 1/10 divided by 10 squared? Okay, look at your cheat sheet. 10 squared is the same thing as 100, so I'm going to rewrite it as 100 and then do my pattern. I have 2 zeros, which means this needs to move to the left twice. 1, 2. So my answer would be 0.451. Okay? So don't get confused when you use exponents. Just rewrite them as you would as what power of 10 it's representing, and then you guys can continue doing your patterns. I hope that helps you guys out with whatever you're working on.